Welcome to the Create with Ease podcast. I am Grace Covington, your host, and so excited today for this podcast. I am doing something different. I don't have a topic prepared today. We are purely following the energy. You often hear me talk about that a lot. Allowing the energy to lead and guide your life. And today what we're going to do is I have two of my favorite decks in front of me. The first one is the Angel Guide, and that has been created by Kyle Gray. And then I also have the White Light Oracle, and this one has been done by Alana Fairchild. So I picked two different cards, and that's what our topic is going to be around, focused on these two cards. And the intention is for you to receive a contribution from the messages from your angels, and also tapping into the deepest spiritual aspects that surround us in our life. And knowing that we are not alone on this planet, you did not come here to suffer and struggle. You are consistently contributed to. You are consistently cared for. You just have to tap into this energy and be willing to receive it. So the first card I pulled was from the Angel Guide. I'll also include these decks in the show notes in case you would love to get your own deck as well. And the card I pulled is Cut the Chords. This is really powerful. I just want you to take a moment to be with that and look at, where do you need to cut chords that are no longer serving you? Is it personal chords with the way that you think, maybe negative energies that may be surrounding you? Are you willing to let go and cut those chords? Are you willing to let go of the people in your life that truly do not contribute to you, but yet you still keep them around because you don't want to offend them? You don't know what life would look like without them. You don't want to lose them. But once you decide to cut the cords, you create a different possibility in your world. You invite something different. And once you let go of what is no longer serving you, you step into what will contribute to you. So I also want to read a little bit about what Kyle wrote, and I have this add to the space of releasing and letting go. And as I am reading, I want you to be present and really look into your life and see how this contributes, where you can begin to take action right away so that you can begin to create the change that you are asking for. So in spirituality, chords are the energetic bonds that connect us to a situation, person, or place. There are different types of chords, but in this context, they are connections to situations or people that can have a negative and draining effect upon us. We also create a negative chord when we have an expectation of the outcome of a situation, especially when it is outside of our control. So this is an important time for you to release any attachments to people, places, situations, outcomes, or anything else that could be limiting your experience of joy. Angels are wrapping you in light and love so that you can lovingly detach from situations that could be draining, dramatic, or damaging your health or purpose. I also want to take an internal assessment of any chords that I need to cut and let go of. And I can immediately what comes up for me is there is a negative person that is not really a part of my world, but they kind of are. And so their energy came up, and I am releasing them and cutting that cord, as their energy does not contribute to me. And every time I think about this person, or I think about the intentions, I just go down this rabbit hole, and different energies and emotions start to rise up that don't really contribute to creating more. Yet it is just a reminder that I can simply let this person go and cut that cord. It is that simple. It is that easy. It is not something I have to spend years processing, but it's just saying I'm ready to release this person and I'm ready to let them go and no longer be attached to those cords that were connecting us. So who can you release and let go of today? Choose to do that. It's that simple. It is just your simple choice. And so the other aspect of this is, and this is something that I work a lot with in my coaching practice, is this space of letting go of the expectation of the outcome of a situation. I know that so many of us have expectations. Hey, I have them too. And sometimes we want to control every single detail in how things show up in our world. So you are asking for something to show up in your world. Something different shows up and you're like, I don't understand why this showed up. I don't see how this is going to contribute. I never asked for this. Those things are the things that you should let go of control. Let go of what your expectations are, because you never know what is happening in the background. We don't have, the insight in every single thing that shows up in our world to see how that thing is maybe creating our future. Maybe this thing showed up because you needed to have this experience to take you to the next level or to accelerate an aspect of your business growing. So don't judge how things are showing up in your world. Know that things are showing up for a reason. Again, everything that shows, if you look at your life from a space of everything that shows up in my world is here to contribute to me, and not looking at life as a problem, but the things you label as problems are actually opportunities and possibilities to more. And so when you look at your life from that way, you don't really have problems. You're like, okay, cool. So this is opening up this possibility. And, what if I truly am willing to receive it? If I'm, willing to look at it differently, what would that open up? And you can see when you live from a space of expectation, that takes away your experience of joy, because you are constantly in the future and not here in the present moment. Because you're like, oh, I can't wait for this to show up. I want it to show up in XYZ format. If it doesn't show up, that means it's wrong or it's bad. And that takes away from this space of joy that we consistently have around us, and that joy that really changes our life. I have been stepping more and more into this joy in my life, and I am so grateful and adore every aspect of my life. And my life is not perfect. I've shared different things with y'all, and I still have different things show up in my world, but I'm truly grateful for where I am in my life because of these tools that I have to change anything and know that I can change anything, and I'm not at the effect of my reality of what's currently happening in my own reality. It is such a beautiful place to live in, and if you're not there, know that you can create it. I am working with a group of women right now, and one of the things that I've incorporated in my facilitation of my group, it's not a group program, it's a one-on-one. I've shifted from a group program to making it a one-on-one experience over 3 months to 1, change your life, 2, create a business, and 3, create a business that is thriving and sustainable, a business that supports your dream lifestyle. And the space of this last week exercise that we went to, that we we're going through, because I use my own tools. I just don't, create content or create material and don't actually do the thing that I'm asking y'all to do. And this week was really about this beautiful exercise. It has really taken self-care to the next level. So it's not just like going to have a massage or getting your nails done. Yes, all those things contribute. But this is creating your life as an honoring, where every single day you are honoring you. And this exercise, it is so beautiful. It is so nurturing. For the person that judges themselves a lot, this is a good therapeutic healing process for you. Or if you don't feel you are good enough, or you feel like the business that you have, you don't know what to create, or if anyone would ever buy from you, this process literally starts to unwind that. And I have seen the gift it has been in my world, where I am showing up and speaking my truth, speaking from a space of authenticity, and not really hiding like what I truly feel, and hiding, because this has been a part of my past, where I am so great at making other people comfortable, and sometimes I exclude myself. I don't really articulate what it is that I require. And as the years have gone forth, and as I continue to change, this has become easier and easier and easier. Now I'm clearly communicating what it is that I require, what it is that I truly desire, what it is I desire to create as my life. And I was having this deep, intimate conversation with my husband. It was this morning, and it was such a beautiful conversation, because we were looking at something that showed up in our world, in our relationship, in our marriage. And because we're always looking to grow as a couple, to connect intimately and deeply and be vulnerable with one another. And I just loved how I showed up in the conversation. Normally I would be like, oh, I have to defend myself. I have to resist, but I was willing. Like, it was such a beautiful communion of listening to my husband, what he had to say, me expressing what I had to say, and then us coming to this space of, okay, so this is what we need to change. This is how we can support each other through the change. And this is how we completely change this. So this space, and I truly believe that space opened up with this exercise that this group of women have been going through, is where I was able to step into that intimacy, that potency, and that gift. So yes, I just want to take a pause. I've been taking, because I know that I've shared quite a bit, and I've shared some big things that will really start to contribute to your life if you allow them to contribute to you. And so let's just take a pause and just breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. So we're going to move on to the next deck. And this is Alana Fairchild's deck. And I pulled the card. It is Epsilon Modulation. And I don't know what epsilon means, but I'm just going to read an excerpt from here so that you can get a sense of what this card is contributing to you and to your world. To embrace the patience required for such building, surrender the need for immediate gratification. We must become so confident in the authenticity and value of the process that we are not in need of external evidence to bolster our courage. We can enjoy validation along the way, but must not turn away if it is absent for a time, especially if those around us appear to be moving faster. With such confidence and courage, we will be able to deepen and slow our breath and our restless nature and allow for the inner workings of our souls to manifest a beautiful healing magic. This oracle asks you to ground yourself, believe in your potential, commit to your path, and be patient so great things can happen for you. Although the flash of stunning insight happens in an instant, it follows a complex orchestration of purification and preparation. There is genius in patience and perseverance. They are hallmarks of nature's long game of breathtakingly diverse creative display. So can you see, like, these are two separate decks and how aligned they are in trusting the process of the journey, that even though you can't see how things are going to work out, but for you to trust the journey and to commit to the process, to commit to your path, that is what activates the magic, is for you to commit to the path, believe in your potential, and be patient so great things can happen for you. That is a beautiful recipe of creation and creating what it is that you desire, knowing that if you believe in your magic, believe in your potential, commit to the path, commit to that process, and be patient so that great things can happen for you. If this is not an anchor or what is the word that I'm looking for? Confirmation that you are on the right path. And once you let go of all the negative forces or maybe people or negative energies, let go of that so you open up to this possibility and then commit to your path, commit to the path that you're on. Know that when you ask, you receive, and sometimes it does take time for parts and pieces to come together. I look at my business journey, and I've been creating this business for a while. And at first, when I started, I was really becoming frustrated because all of the things around me, around business creation that I was asking for, were not showing up. And I was like, to have one person sign up for my programs. Sometimes I wouldn't have anyone. And I was just frustrated. And this is the part where this oracle is saying is trust the process. There is a preparation and a purification that takes place. And in my beginning stages of business, I had to go through those experiences. I had to go through failure. I had to go through experiencing, one person, showing up and still committing to facilitating that class, which ended up being such a potent class, even though one person showed up. And so you develop this sense of courage, this resiliency, this deep trust in spirituality, in the universe, and God, and spirit, whatever that looks like for you. And know that you are not alone. I have really enjoyed today's podcast and just showing up, having no topic, bringing in the energies of the oracle deck and what that has contributed to all of us. I have deeply received that as well. It has been such a beautiful process. And if you like this, I'm looking to include more and more of these energies into these podcasts so that they can really contribute to you and contribute to your life and contribute to you having everything that you desire showing up in your world. And so I want to take a little bit of a segue because this energy just keeps coming up. And I'm like, okay, this is the theme today. We are following the energy. I want to talk about, and I'll include this in the show notes as well. Not really sure why this topic is coming up because it's so completely different. But I get that it is here to contribute. So we know that a lot of things have been happening on our planet, and I'm specifically talking to global warming. We are seeing weather patterns change in different parts of the world where, all the flooding that has taken place, and where these places normally would not, be flooded or have these consistent hurricanes showing up. And a lot of that has to do with how we have treated the planet and how we've created the separation from the planet. And I want to talk about things that you can do in your life to start to change this, because the more people that are choosing to be aware of our planet, these things start to change. Otherwise, we are not going to have a planet, and we probably won't be on this planet, or we will have a very difficult time on this planet as these weather patterns continue to change. So some things that you can do is to really start to educate yourself on what you can do to change things in your world, in your reality. It's maybe beginning to, starting to recycle and not throwing I'm so amazed at how many people don't recycle, and people just throw all of the, the plastic and the bottles all in the garbage can. And we can recycle those things, and because that is renewable material, and it's not going into our oceans. It's not going into our lakes. So if you do not recycle, that is something that you can do as well. You can also grow a garden. I was watching something on CBS Morning News about a farmer in England, and there's so many people doing this around the world. He changed his farming patterns and is now including more of a biodiversity type of farming. And what biodiversity type of farming is, where you include all of these different holistic approaches in your farming practices. So, you have chickens, you have cows, you have goats, you are growing a garden, you have vegetables as well. And what that does is, for our soil, one, it starts to create a healthier soil. If you are practicing, let's say, farming practices where you're, doing crop rotation, you're not using any pesticides, you're taking like the manure from the cows and incorporating that into your fertilizer. So everything on the farm contributes to everything. So like, as the cows graze and when they poop, that can be used as fertilizer in the ground. And as your grass grows, your chickens will eat, feed off of the natural land. So everything is contributing to that. And as you grow different flowers, trees, you start to attract bees, and bees pollinate. We need bees on this planet for pollination. And you start to attract different insects in that area. And it just helps the soil to be a rich kind of soil, and a soil that has lots of nutrition in it. And so how can you do this? Like, let's say you're not a farmer. You can grow a garden in your backyard. I don't have a large backyard, but I grow a lot of things in containers. And this year I actually grew some marigolds, and I've been so amazed at what has been showing up. Different butterflies. Like I've never seen so many butterflies, and also bees and birds that are coming to this space, and lots of dragonflies as well. And just creating a different environment. So I'm just, doing this on a small scale. Like, what could you do that will create a different possibility? And maybe it is, I know many people are working from home, or maybe it is, looking at emissions. I know that I do fly. I do travel quite a bit. And yes, I know there's a lot of emissions that are created from airplanes. At this time, that's something I also look at as well, maybe lessening my flight path, or, taking a different route. But I'm saying that I'm not perfect, as you can see that There are areas in my life that I still need to look at or look to see, what can be done different. But if we're all stepping up in this way and really being more present with the planet, being more conscious with our planet, we start to create change. And if you are interested, there are organizations that you can donate to. I know 4Ocean is a great organization where they pull a pound of plastic, all this harmful stuff that is in our oceans, on a daily basis. And literally you're, donating, sometimes it's $5 to $20. You can donate to growing more trees in the world. I will post resources in the show notes so that we are all contributing, that we are part of this. And this is the part where I believe, like in creating a money course, I truly believe that it is vital that you are creating more than enough money. The more you are receiving in terms of money, the more you can contribute to the world and contribute to creating change on the planet. So you should make that vital in your life, where you are creating so you have more to contribute. You can create more, maybe start up a foundation that changes our world and creates a different possibility on this planet. That is generosity of spirit. And when you have that sense of generosity of spirit, things show up in your world with greater ease. The more you contribute, when you give, you also will receive. Thank you so much for listening to this week's podcast. The show notes will be updated with some of the resources I provided today. And I hope you go forth in the world and show up as your beautiful self and commit to creating the life and business of your dreams. I am Grace Covington. Have a fabulous week.